Hello, I'm Gary Penrod, Sheriff of San Bernardino County. Children ages 5 and younger are more at risk of dying from drowning than from any other unintentional injury. Some of you watching this video have responded to or experienced a drowning personally. It is our goal to prevent one more child from falling victim to a drowning or near drowning incident in this county. If you are watching this video as a first responder, the information you collect on this Immersion Incident Report form is vital in preventing future drownings. If you are watching this as a parent or caregiver, the steps you take to protect your child from water dangers are critical. All of us, the Sheriff's Department, San Bernardino Public Health, Safe Kids Inland Empire, Fire, and EMS, hope this video heightens your awareness of drowning dangers, as we want you to know the best recommendations for drowning prevention. Remember, together we can stop childhood drownings.
No, Ty, not right now. I have to put the groceries away. Oh my gosh. Hello? Hey, how are you? Oh, I know. I can't wait for us to get together. I know. I was thinking maybe a little bit later.
What you have just seen happens all too often. It only takes a few seconds for a child to drown. A brief lapse in supervision, an unprotected swimming area, or not communicating who is watching the children can be disastrous for the kids. Drowning is the second leading cause of death for children ages 1 to 14. Even though it's 100% preventable, drowning kills nearly 900 children every year. For every one child that dies, 4 more experience a near drowning incident. Our goal is to share how and why drownings happen and the steps necessary to keep children from becoming victims.
As a pediatric intensive care nurse and a pediatric trauma coordinator for 16 years, I truly believe that one of the most heart-wrenching things we see here at the Children's Hospital are the children who drown. It so profoundly affects the entire chain of people involved, from these innocent little children themselves, to their parents and siblings, to the doctors and nurses who care for them. Their pain that we witness them going through is often indescribable. To have a perfect little child one moment who just drowns in an instant and who is either lost or has irreversible brain damage is just a terrible thing. I have to undoubtedly say that the hardest thing we have to do here is to tell a parent that their child is not coming home with them.
What can we do to protect our children from water dangers? Following the ABCs of water safety can make a difference.
The A stands for Active Adult Supervision. Whenever you are with a child around the water, make sure that you are within arm's reach and have eye contact. That is Active Adult Supervision. If you are on the phone, talking to friends, or taking care of another child, you are not actively supervising the children in the water. Remember, children begin to drown in seconds, and it is silent. In the time it takes to answer the phone, a child can be seriously injured.
The B stands for barriers. A 4-sided isolation fence, a door alarm, a pool cover or net are some of the barriers that are effective in keeping children from the water. The best protection is to layer many of the barriers so that if one fails, there's another one in place. It's important to remember, though, that no barrier is 100% effective. Nothing can replace active adult supervision. Remember also that toys are an attraction for children and should never be left in the pool, as kids may try to retrieve them. Also, furniture should be moved away from any fence. so that children cannot use it to climb over.
The C stands for classes, both CPR and first aid. Knowing CPR will improve the child's chance of survival and can mean the difference between life and death. It is also important to have life-saving devices near the pool, such as a life ring or a shepherd's hook. Always have a phone nearby so that if needed, 911 can be called immediately.
The most important thing a bystander can do in a drowning situation is to pull the patient from the pool and to immediately give them rescue breathing if they're not breathing adequately on their own. This is more important than assessing for pulse or for trying to get them to vomit or any other interventions that bystanders might do, because oxygen is really the problem, or the lack of oxygen is really the problem that we are dealing with here.
There are many sources of water that can be dangerous for children. Bathtubs, toilets, buckets, ponds, fountains, lakes, and rivers can hold enough water for a child to drown in. It only takes an inch of water for a child to drown, just enough to cover the nose and mouth. Always actively supervise when children are around water.
As the temperature warms up, a lot of people come to the mountains for recreation. Part of the enjoyment of that is being in and around the water, a nice cool stream. However, that can turn deadly in a heartbeat if your child isn't supervised. Water as little as 6 inches deep can sweep a child off his feet and downstream very fast. The water doesn't appear to be moving very fast, but as it comes down out of the mountains, it can pick up speeds as fast as 25 to 30 miles an hour. Some of the other activities involve boating and the use of a personal watercraft. Please make sure that your children are wearing the proper flotation device and always supervise them when they're out on the water. One of the most tragic things for a dive team member is to respond to recover a child and to pull them from these waters.
For the patient that is near a body of water that is either far from a community hospital or further from a tertiary care center for the more critically injured child, a lot of times air evacuation will be called for. The ground medics will activate whichever particular system works in their area, and the air ambulance will land nearby and then evacuate the child to the hospital that's designated. Once the patient has arrived in the hospital, our first priority is similar to what the first responders are dealing with in the field. The airway and breathing are our absolute first concerns with these patients. And so we will make sure that the airway is clear, that the patient is breathing adequately, and that we are delivering oxygen in the most efficient manner possible. Circulation then is addressed after this, and then we move through a standard assessment of the patient.
The San Bernardino County Sheriff, along with Safe Kids, the San Bernardino Department of Public Health, the Drowning Prevention Network, Fire, and EMS have been working on the issue of childhood drowning for quite some time. Unfortunately, we have been unable to eliminate this tragedy from occurring. The Submersion Incident Report Form, also known as SIRF, has been developed to help us understand why these drownings keep occurring. This form was designed to take a look at the situation that led up to the event. Were there barriers in place? Was there a lapse in supervision? Was the child supposed to be in or near the water? The SIRF form will help us determine to whom our educational messages should be directed and hopefully help us put an end to childhood drownings.
Drownings are 100% preventable. Following the ABCs of water safety can keep children safe. And hopefully, one more family will not need to experience the agony of losing a child.
Every year I'd hear stories of children drowning. I thought I was immune to that. I thought I was a good parent and that I watched my kids very carefully. Then in August of 1999, my 2.5-year-old son Brandon fell into an unprotected pool and drowned. I didn't know I needed to communicate who was supervising. I didn't realize that barriers would have kept him from the water. And I didn't know that CPR would have made the difference between life and death. I also didn't know that drowning is silent and that it only takes a few moments. I wish I knew then what I know now, but wishing won't bring my son back. But by you watching this video and taking this advice, you might just save the life of your child.